Folks, what you're going to see in this video is some footage that was captured in November 2023's Compass Expo with the participants in the game that was running at that event of The Last Gamble. Anybody who is interested in this amazing looking game should stay tuned, because on Thursday we will be releasing a very interesting unboxing video.
So there's still three.
Yes, okay, yes. Yeah, they have three.
So that's five.
They have five, okay.
Five and I forgot.
5 and 9?
Yes.
5 and 9, okay.
It's 14.
14. Okay.
So it's 14 to 3.
To 3.
And let's see here. Bruno has.
He's going to use some on it.
Well, he's going to use
That's
this
the only-
one.
that's
That's
the
the only
only
one he
one.
can use.
The only one. And if you get more. Okay, he can add 3.
So he's going to be a 6. So it's
14 to 6 is 2 to 1.
2 to 1.
Okay.
Okay. So we have a 2 to 1.
Coordinated attack, 3 to 1. No coordinated defense.
No coordinated defense.
No flank.
No flank.
Okay. So it's 3 to 1. Superior morale, who's got it?
He's got a 6. These guys are horrible.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
So it's 4 to 1.
No, that was
Yep.
Okay. No surprise, no that, no town. It's 4 to 1.
So it's 4 to 1. You can't have combined arms here
No.
because they're severe terrain.
You can't have combined arms there
Because you're going into a forest. Okay. So we don't have that. So it's a 4 to 1 straight up.
Straight up.
Pardon me. White die.
Not so good.
All right, so I'm here with Rich Hoffman, Danny Parker, and Rick DiGirolami. They are the demo team here at Compass Expo for Danny's new game, The Last Gamble, which right around the time you see this video should be up on Kickstarter. So let's have a look.
So the reason to redo The Last Gamble was the original had some really nice concepts, I thought, but it was flawed. It was flawed in terms of bad rules, presentation, and then also some of the concepts weren't what I really thought they could be. And I'm a person who is not satisfied with something that's deficient, and I felt that I could do better. And then I had been away from the hobby for about 5 years, more than 5 years, and then I came back to it because Rich Hoffman wrote me and said he had worked on the rules for Hitler's Last Gamble. I saw those and said, wow, this guy has really turned a rabble into something. And then I was contacted by Compass about the possibility of redoing the title. And I thought, yeah, I'm willing to do that. And I asked Rich whether he'd be willing to help me. One thing led to another. Really dyed-in-the-wool consultant in Scotland who was going to really help with some of the historical questions. And then really trying to make it more fun. So we really tried to add not only deep amount of historical detail to the battle, but a very rigorous presentation of the game in terms of its elements and the rules. And then we added fun to it. So at the end, we decided, this game is really detailed. It requires some effort to learn how to move, in particular in the game. But we wanted it to have elements that are going to make it so that you're having a good time playing this thing. And we think my experience here at Expo has shown that we've succeeded with that. I'm really quite proud of it.
These guys can move half movement for 3. These guys can move only 2 movement points apiece. Danny contacted me out of the blue and said, I understand you've rewritten the rules for Last Gamble, for Hitler's Last Gamble, and I said, yeah, I did. And he said, they're magnificent. I'm hoping to republish the game, would you help me? And I said, sure. That turned into 5 years of, a lot of fun, a lot of hard work, some ups, a couple of downs, but turned into a great product because really got into Danny's interest in the detail of the history. I got into the concepts that he was trying to implement in the game, which were similar, but there are many improved and new concepts in the game. I got to use a lot of my own experience to assemble the rules of the game and the structure of the game and all the elements of the game in a very tight, logically consistent and accurate manner, which was my real focus there. And I've got almost 40 years of military experience, and I applied that to a lot of the understanding of what those concepts mean in the real world, that a lot of gamers don't have that experience to make that relationship and that connection to. So those were my real goals, to put something out that was going to be better than it was. This is a lot better than it was. It's light years ahead of it where it was. And to have fun doing it. And thankfully, Danny and Andrew and our other collaborators on this, playtesters, our editor, and everything else like that, and certainly John from Compass Games, Ilya from who is our graphic artist, all those guys pulled together, and I think this is a magnificent product.
No, you can't do a crank group because then that ties you to only 2 movement points for the armor. So the infantry moves first.
Hi, my name is Rick DiGirolami. I just wanted to chat a little bit about the system that we have in Last Gamble. The most likely signature feature is the use of the terrain, the closed nature of the terrain, and how the actual movement of units is real time, which means that if you are moving units during the movement phase, you have to look at the stacking and you have to look at the terrain. So therefore, there's a tremendous amount of friction that's generated onto the battlefield. And because of that, you have to do some careful planning as to how you advance units, where your attack is going to be, where you have to channel your resources. That's the most critical part of the game to me. There are a huge set of force multipliers in the combat system, and it's all in the tables. It was, really well designed by Rich Hoffman, and therefore the combat, if you follow the sequence and you follow the tables, you get a very good idea of what the force multipliers are and how the combat works. In addition, probably 2 of the most other critical elements is you have to decide how you're going to put certain units either into combat exploitation or regular exploitation, since you're able to move those within the sequence of play after you've done regular combat. So that's going to be critical as to how you can exploit and move certain units into positions that you can expand where you made your initial attacks. I haven't gotten the chance to play with the advanced system, which would include the divisional structure, the command system with commanders, but I think those are going to be, an addition, and will force you to put your divisions into very discrete groups so that they just don't go everywhere on the map. So I would say that pretty much covers it.
What we're looking at is the last game turn of the opening scenario called the Last Blitzkrieg. It is a 4-day scenario that reflects the first 4 days of the battle on the entire front. We have a lot of American and a lot of German units which have penetrated, which have been cut off, which have tried to move further west, but the American player has done a really, really good job of stymieing that movement as best as he can. The game will end at the American player's next turn, and the victory objectives for positions like cities and towns have already been achieved. The last victory objective will be getting 3 German units west of this line, and that's going to be a little difficult. So good luck to the German player. The American player has done a great job. Neither of them have played this game before, but both of them are extremely experienced in bulge games. They recognize the units, what they did historically, and where they should be doing and what they should be doing. And it's getting down to a matter of lucky dice rolls to determine the outcome of the game, which is what we want to have.
I'm Bruno Sinigaglio. I designed Battle of the Bulge 1981. I did the 3rd edition of Africa Core Rules, 2nd edition of Waterloo, Siege of Jerusalem for Avalon Hill in 1988, and A Time for Trumpets, Italian level Battle of Bulge with 2,000 plus counters and 5 maps. Nobody knows more history about the Battle of the Bulge than Dan. So you're going to get the maximum history, and even if I didn't like playing this game, I would buy it just so I would have a copy of the history. And I try to do the same thing with The Time for Trumpets, but Danny always goes above and beyond the Call of Duty. And so there's more history in this game than you'll ever see in any other game. It's awesome.
When I met Jim Dunnigan, he asked me, one of the things he asked me was, how many of our games do you have? I said, I think I have 20, maybe 50 of S&T games or S&T issues and games that I bought from simulation publications or Fulton Press. He said, well, how many of those have you played? I said, well, I played some of them. I played maybe 5 or 10. He said, but do you look at any of the others? I said, yeah, I take each of the others out and I study them. And he said, this is the point. We're selling these games and people are playing them, and it's important that they be able to play. People are always studying these games. Our customers want to study history in a form where they feel like it can work as like a time machine, so that they go back to something. And he said, the games must be historical enough so that they give you that feel. When he had worked at Avalon Hill, that was the idea they hired him for, which is after Code 65, it was so weak as a historical comment, even so much fiction. They hired him in 1966. He worked in Jutland, completely new treatment of Navy. Then he did 1914, a subject never approached. And if you look at that game, regardless of how you feel about how that game plays and how much fun it is, that game is fun to study. If you look at the material that came with that game from Avalon Hill, it was completely unlike any other product they had done. And with Avalon and with SPI, he converted SPI into a company that was producing this kind of quality. And I still think that Dunnigan was right. The last Campbell, this game that we produced, is always going to be something fun for you to study, whether you play it or not. And if you play it, it'll be fun too.
Massive thanks to the patrons of Ardwulf's Lair, whose support and encouragement make what we do at Ardwulf's Lair possible. Thank you, patrons. Links to help support the channel are in the video description, so check out the Patreon, the Ko-Fi, and the merch store, where you can get snazzy Ardwulf's Lair t-shirts, drinking vessels, and other cool swag. There is also an affiliate link for Noble Knight Games in the video description. If you buy stuff through that affiliate link, it helps to support the channel with Noble Knight store credit. Thank you, Noble Knight. Until next time, thanks for watching, and happy gaming.